Hey guys, what's up? Just thought I'd do a quick little demo on how to install some SOR graphics. These ones in particular are for the Capra panels. Not my greatest paint job, so I'm glad that SOR could hook it up with some new decals. Plus it's kind of got the new Dean Designs logo that he whipped up for me as well. So yeah, I'm gonna get started on this. Now, a couple things you may need. You may need some sort of a X-Acto blade for any kind of trimming. So I like to have one on hand. Another thing that's your friend, heat. This is nothing fancy. I think this was like a $10 hair dryer at Walmart. I use this for paint, for applying bodies. You know, makes life a lot easier. Heat is your friend when it comes to vinyl. And secondly, I like to get the body clean, and I use Moo Clean. What is it? The electronic cleaner and degreaser. This stuff works really well. It gets all the little grease and dirt off of this, so you're going to want to use this to clean up your panels so you have nice clean panels so the vinyl will adhere. And then you also will need something like some blue shop towels, so that way you can wipe them up, dry them off before you start applying. So let's get started. Okay, first off, we're going to start off by cleaning down the panels, get any kind of grease. Let's start, let's do the hood, because the hood's going to be like the hardest part. So just give it a quick little spray down. Give yourself a blue shop towel. And there you have it. So one panel, super clean, no dirt, no debris. So yeah, let's give it a start. Now these ones are super cool. They're like, I don't know if you can see that on film, but super thick, so these should hold up really well. Basically what you're going to want to start doing is, I like to line up the edges. If there's any kind of like a hole, which in this case there is, because that's where the bolts go through for the hinge. I like to line those up first, kind of get it where it should be. And then kind of start using your fingers, and like I said, like on these panels, that's why I said this one would probably be the hardest. There are some creases, so you're going to want to press down to get everything kind of like positioned in place. Now this is where I said heat's going to be your friend. So we're getting some bubbles right here, and it's not really wanting to lay down all the way. So you're going to want to heat this up, make this super pliable, and then continue to work. Now while it's still hot, you can still peel it back, give it, work it, so that way you're not getting any kind of wrinkles or bubbles. And there you have it. We got our first panel done. From the back side, you can see all that white is overhang. That's where I like to take the blade, you know, kind of just run the blade across it, make sure that it, you know, cleans up really nice, but I'll save that for the end. Meanwhile, let's keep on rolling. Just want to make sure this bubble gets out of here before the glue kind of sets. And that's also why I like to use heat. It really gets that glue nice and sticky, so it'll adhere better to the plastic. And obviously, the cleaner the plastic is, the better it's going to hold up. So, So once you're happy with that panel, I like to give it a quick little heat. You know, again, this time I might not do high, I'll just do low. Yeah, that hair dryer doesn't get super hot. I know some people might recommend using a heat gun. The problem I have with the heat gun is that gets so hot you could distort the plastic. That's why I prefer the hair dryer method. So I just see a few more bubbles. Just want to get those out of here so it looks nice and clean when we're all done. All right, panel number 1 done. All right, guys, so let's continue working on. We'll go with the roof panel next. Give it a little spray with our CalRC electronic cleaner and degreaser. Make sure you got any kind of dirt. Like I said, with the hood, just like the roof, you want to make sure you get in all the creases, make sure that there's nothing there. All right, so we get that cleaned up, set that down. This panel, we still have, you know, the slight hump, gonna make it a little difficult, similar, not as difficult as the hood, but still, it will be a little bit of a challenge. So yeah, so let's get started. Now for this one, I'm actually going to peel it back, if you can see that, so that way I can line up right underneath that, I guess kind of like the hood scoop, or roof scoop, I should say. Okay, once you're happy with the placement, kind of the same deal. I'm still off just a little bit. This is, like I said, this is where, you know, you just take your time. Time's gonna be key for any kind of a wrap job. You never want to rush it. Try to always make sure you can line it up best you can. All right, and the same thing, you're gonna kind of want to start working your way down, you know, even pressure, kind of like look for any air bubbles. Another, I guess, tip that is very helpful is make sure you got a lot of overhead light, so you can kind of like use the light to find any bubbles, and then, you know, just kind of work those out. And the beauty of these wraps is you don't have to just put it down the first time and it's you know, down and done. You can actually move it around still for a little bit. So just keep working it until you're happy with the layout. All right, we got our hood done. Or, sorry, I keep saying hood, roof. We got our roof done. So now we got 2 panels left, the 2 side panels. Let's do the same thing. I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe both these down now. Discard that. Another thing I guess I should point out too is I know SOR recommends the panel underneath to be all black. That actually does turn out the best. Unfortunately, since I'm going over a paint job, I'm not going to get to do that, but as you can see, just looking at it real quickly, it still looks pretty good because the majority of my colors were dark. So yeah, so just keep that in mind. So let's see what panel this side. All right, so now we're gonna do the same thing. There are some perforation marks in this because these panels do, I don't know if you can see that like from the side, they do have those ridges. So we're just gonna start on one end. One panel done. Just one more to go, and I'll show you how to trim all these up, and yeah, that'll be it. Go ahead and get this mounted up on our Capra and see how the end result looks. And there you have it, another panel all done. All right, so now we're gonna trim up everything, get it all ready to be put back on the Capra. Now, if you have a nice magnet mat from CowRC, you're not gonna wanna be cutting on this. There's no point in ruining a perfectly good mat. So what I like to do is I have this little piece of, it's like 1/8 inch wood, nice and soft, not gonna destroy your blade when you go through it. But at the same time, you're not going to ruin your nice mat. So basically what I like to do is just trace the body and make sure you press down nice and firm. this excess. Now this is a lot thicker than the previous wraps, so I really like this material that he's using on these. You know it's going to hold up really well, so you might have to do a couple passes with the blade. See, and now we don't have all that overhang. It's nice and smooth. Another thing I like to do too is just go ahead and go over it, make sure you pull it down. Another little fun tip, you don't have to be super aggressive with it. Should have this. A little bit of sandpaper, this is 180, it's a block. I like to just kind of make sure that it's all down, there's no edges that can peel up. Just give it a nice little light sand. You don't want to ruin your wrap, you just want to make sure that it stays down. And there we go. Got one done. And there you have it, last panel done. As you can see, there really isn't much, excess. I mean, we had a few little thin strips. Go ahead, toss those. Like I said, Jay does a very good job tracing the factory bodies and giving you something that you really don't have to do a lot of trimming. The only reason why I like to do the trimming, I know some people probably just fold it over, let it be. The problem that I found is you have too much overhang. When you put it back on the rig and you run it, when dirt gets on there, it starts to roll the wrap back, and then it starts peeling off, and you get dirt back there, you never get it stick right again. So I just like to take the excess off, smooth over the edges, kind of prolongs the life of your wrap. So now I will get the rig on the bench, and we'll put it all together and show you the final result. All right, guys. We have it all installed. All the panels are back on the car. I think it turned out pretty cool. Big shout out to Jay at SOR Graphics. I do think I'm probably gonna do something else with these wheels, just because now this bronze doesn't really, I mean, it kind of goes, but I have another set of gold wheels somewhere that might look a little bit better, but this thing turned out awesome. So yeah, that's the end result. So like I said, with a little heat, some patience, work it, you'll get your vinyl down and totally change the look of your car. Nice and durable, so it shouldn't be peeling up. And yeah, and remember, it's just vinyl, so if you ever get tired of it, want to change it up, or it gets destroyed, you can get a new one sent out to you and throw it on there and be ready to go again. All right, guys, I hope that helped somebody out, and hope to see you out on the rocks. See ya.